Hey guys, it's Tango Oscar Mike, and what did I get myself into? So this is my wife's 2023 4Runner. She just got it a few months ago. She's super happy with it, except for one thing. Her Forester had an automatic liftgate and, goes up and down by itself. The 4Runner does not. That's not an option on the 4Runner. And this liftgate is kind of heavy, even with the gas shocks. Plus she has trouble reaching it. She's a little short. She can just barely reach the handles. So I bought an aftermarket kit to replace everything. So basically it puts two electric actuators, replaces the shocks. You have to take all this off. You replace the latch. There's some other guy did another video on it. The worst part of this so far was getting a wire run from here, down here, and over to here. That was a nightmare. It took me, I think, an hour to an hour and a half. Everything else is going pretty smoothly. I have to start buttoning things up. Now I have to go from this grommet down. I have to take the stuff off, pull the headliner down, and run everything back into this compartment. And then run some more cabling down the side of the car. But I've done that in a Tacoma, and it was pretty easy. The panels pop right off, and you're right down the front. That I'm not worried about. This is definitely the hardest part. You have to replace a lot of stuff. There'll be a little switch here that she can push. There'll be a button on the dash she can push. And there'll also be a foot switch where she can just stick her foot underneath the vehicle and it will open up if she has her keys in her pocket. But that's a little more complicated. So if I can just get this done today, I'll be happy. I don't know about the foot switch myself. I kind of think that's kind of but we'll see. But I'm going to try to button this back up, try to get the wires run down there, and try to get as much done as I can. They say it'll take 3 to 5 hours. I think I'm in 2.5, maybe almost 3 hours. So I think it's going to take me longer, to be honest. If you notice the spot on my nose, I noticed a white spot on my nose, and I went to a dermatologist, and he didn't like it, so he dug it out. So my nose is healing. He also took a mole off my back, not a big deal. The moles that I thought he'd be concerned about, like the one on my face here, he said that's nothing to worry about. He wouldn't even mess with it. I can take it off if I want to, but that's more of a cosmetic than it is emergency. This one concerned him. I'm not going to say it is skin cancer yet, but he was kind of concerned, and I'll know in a few more days. So I'm not sweating it until he tells me. And even if it was, he said there's nothing you do. You just, make sure you keep on top of it and keep getting it checked on a regular basis and everything else. So, but yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine. And I'm going to keep working on this. I am finally finished. The tailgate works. If you have the key fob, you can either hit the latch here and the tailgate will open. You can press the button inside. Or you can hit the remote on the key fob. So if I just pop that, here it go up. I also installed a button here. So you can, to close it, you can press that button, press the button inside, or press unlock on the remote 3 times. And that works. Everything's back where it should be. I didn't damage anything. I didn't break anything, so I'm happy about that. Haven't tried driving it yet, of course. The only thing I'm not happy with is this cover. This cover for the back latch. It doesn't snap back into place. And there was another video that said that you have to glue it. The bottom tab here just doesn't have a spot to lock in underneath it. Like the old lock did. So it won't lock in there. So I don't like that. That looks terrible. But I could glue it, but I may try to just see if I can't make it fit better. But I do want to take care of that. We opted not to install the foot pedal. My wife said she doesn't even think she would use it. and you have to go down underneath the vehicle. It's a lot of wiring, and we just decided not to do that. All the wiring is nice and neat. If you look, there's the wires for the grommet. This is the wires through this grommet that run down into the vehicle for all the controls for the 2 cylinders and the latch control. I do want to get some wrap for this to wrap these up, although I think they'll be fine. I'm really not worried about it. I don't think any water is going to get in there, but I do want to seal this up with some type of sealant really good. I still have to replace the hinges. Not the hinges, they have reinforcements for these hinges, and I don't have the tools to get them off. They would not budge, so I'm gonna have to go over and see my nephew who lives right down the road and see if he can't help me with that. But I couldn't get them to budge, and I don't wanna strip them off, but you take these off, and then you have to put in a couple of inserts in here just to reinforce that hinge area. But other than that, it's clean. The wiring runs all the way down through there, the whole way down the length of the car, and up underneath here. The button is backlit like it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm happy. You can see in here, there's the button for the rear. Press it until it beeps, and the rear goes down. And latches. So I'm done. It took me a lot longer than it says in the instructions, but I took my time. I did have a really hard time running the wire down through the hatch. That was a pain in the ass, and that took me over an hour just to get that accomplished. But it's all said and done. I've only got a couple of cuts. I did slice my finger pretty good underneath the dash of all places, putting in the switch. But everything else is good, and I think my wife's going to be very happy. Toyota, if you're listening, an electric tailgate should be a factory option. It should just be included at this point. This gate, when I was taking the shocks off to replace the shocks, that gate is freaking heavy. I didn't realize how heavy it was until I had the shocks off and was supporting it, tried lifting it on my own. It's really heavy. Luckily, I have this cargo bar. This is a cargo bar that I use in the back of my truck to hold cargo. And I use this as kind of a jack. I put it on the tailgate and use this to help hold the gate up so I wouldn't damage anything, that way. But yeah, I'm happy. No extra parts. There was an optional wiring harness. It's a little confusing. This was a different wiring harness that I didn't need for an older model. Trust me, the first time I hit the button for this to close, I was petrified. My heart was pounding. I was afraid it wasn't going to work or something. I tested the remote. That worked. Everything's working the way it should. I'm happy. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to save all the original parts. I'll put them in a box or something and keep them just in case we need them. And that's it. I'm done. I can't believe it. It's like 6:30, and I think I started this like 11 maybe? 11:30? 11:30? I can't remember now. But I'm happy. Got to clean up all my stuff. I don't have a lot of tools, but I had enough. I just don't have a impact wrench powerful enough to pull those screws out. And my nephew is a really good mechanic, and I'm sure he can help me out, and I'm sure he'll be kind of interested to see what was done. I might have a use for the old gas struts, if they'll fit. We'll see. But yeah, all good. I don't think there's anything else. Having these pry bars to pull the vehicle apart were really good, and I'm trying to think if there's any other tool that really came in clutch for me. No, those are really it. Having some wire, I just used some old Romex wire to push through to do my runs in there, and that was it. That was pretty good. The directions aren't bad, and This is to me, this was an advanced level do-it-yourself thing. Even I was starting to get a little worried about doing it, but it's done now and it works perfectly. The door closes perfectly, and yeah, gonna clean up and get a drink because I earned it. I earned myself a good glass of bourbon.